Lord Argall. Lord Argall, the father of Nolan Grayson and grandfather of Mark and Oliver Grayson, making him a crucial figure in the Grayson lineage. Born on Viltrum, he rose to power as the Viltrumite Emperor after fighting his way through their brutal hierarchy. Argall led the Viltrumite Empire during its campaign of conquest across the galaxy, earning both praise for his wisdom and fear for his ruthless rule. Argall's leadership style was a mix of wisdom and malevolence. While he valued intelligence and strategy over brute strength, he was also a firm believer in social Darwinism, often showing cruelty toward those he deemed weak. His legacy is contradictory. Some describe him as a wise and benevolent leader, while others view him as a tyrant who led the Viltrumites on violent conquests. Argall was eventually assassinated by Thetis, a Viltrumite who opposed the Empire's cruel ways. Following his death, the Empire fell into turmoil during the Viltrumite Civil War. Argall's heirs were lost during this time, and Grand Regent Thrag, bred to be the strongest Viltrumite, was appointed ruler until a true heir could be found. Nolan is the only known surviving child of Argall, with his heritage hidden to protect him from Viltrumite enemies and the Scourge virus, which may have wiped out other heirs. Nolan Grayson. Nolan Grayson, also known as Omni-Man, is a Viltrumite warrior who came to Earth as part of the Viltrumite Empire's mission to conquer planets. Adopting a secret identity as a best-selling author named Nolan Grayson, he became a superhero and married Debbie, a human, with whom he had a son, Mark Grayson. Later, after leaving Earth, he fathered another son, Oliver, with Andressa, a native of an alien planet. Nolan's character is deeply complex, evolving from a ruthless enforcer of Viltrumite ideals to a compassionate leader shaped by his family and experiences on Earth. Initially, Nolan betrayed Earth's trust by murdering the Guardians of the Globe and revealing his intent to conquer the planet. This led to a brutal confrontation with Mark, during which Nolan fled Earth, leaving his son deeply scarred. Captured by his own people, Nolan faced execution but escaped with the help of Alan the alien. During the Viltrumite War, Nolan discovered he was the rightful heir to the Viltrumite throne after his father, Emperor Argall, was killed. Following a climactic battle with Grand Regent Thrag, Nolan became the Viltrumite Emperor and sought to guide his people toward peace. As Emperor, Nolan worked to integrate Viltrumites into Earth's society and reform their violent ways. His leadership ended tragically when Thrag killed him, but Nolan ensured his legacy by naming Mark as his successor. Deborah Grayson. Deborah Grayson, Debbie for short, is the wife of Nolan Grayson and the mother of Mark Grayson, who later becomes the superhero Invincible. Debbie met Nolan in the early 1980s after he saved her life. Despite knowing he was an alien and a superhero, she married him and helped him adapt to Earth. Together, they raised their son Mark, leading what seemed to be a happy family life for 2 decades. Debbie Grayson also serves as the mother figure to Oliver Grayson, who becomes her stepson. She is deeply involved in her family's life and cares for both her son and her new legal stepson. Debbie is described as an attractive Asian woman of average height, with a slender frame, short black hair, and brown eyes. When Mark turned 18 and developed superpowers, Debbie learned the devastating truth about Nolan's mission to colonize Earth. Upon learning this, Debbie questions everything she knew about her husband. She struggles with the betrayal and the realization that the man she loved was not who she thought he was. Over time, Debbie worked to rebuild her life, pursuing a real estate license and finding strength in a support group for spouses of superheroes, as seen in the TV adaptation. Eventually, Debbie reunited with Nolan, and despite his last betrayal, Debbie eventually reconciled with Nolan and attempted to rebuild their relationship. Mark Grayson. Mark Sebastian Grayson, known as Invincible, is the son of Nolan Grayson, a Viltrumite warrior, and Deborah Grayson, a human. As a Viltrumite-human hybrid, Mark inherited immense strength, speed, durability, and the ability to fly. However, his powers didn't manifest until he turned 17, much later than expected. Initially a normal high school student, Mark embraced his superhero identity, striving to live up to his father's legacy, until discovering that Nolan's mission on Earth was not to protect humanity, but to subjugate it for the Viltrum Empire. Rejecting his father's conquest, Mark dedicated himself to defending Earth and its people from the Viltrumites and other threats. Mark's journey is marked by tremendous growth and hardship. He evolves from a hopeful, sarcastic teen to a mature and introspective hero. Along the way, he faces life-altering challenges, including teaching his younger brother Oliver during his black suit days, confronting brutal villains like Conquest, and grappling with the darker sides of heroism. Despite his incredible strength, Mark often struggles with self-doubt and avoids lethal force whenever possible, though this restraint sometimes puts him at a disadvantage. Eventually, Mark discovers his heritage as the heir to the Viltrum Empire, a title passed down from his grandfather, Lord Argall. After defeating Thrag and losing Nolan, Mark assumes leadership of the Viltrumites, steering them toward a new era of peace across the galaxy. Oliver Grayson, also known as Kid Omni-Man and later Young Omni-Man, born on Thraxa to Nolan Grayson, a Viltrumite, and Andressa, a Thraxan, Oliver's purple skin reflects his unique heritage as a hybrid of two alien species. His accelerated learning and development are traits of his Thraxan genes, which make him intellectually and physically advanced compared to humans. Hidden as an infant during a Viltrumite attack, Oliver was raised by Andressa until his half-brother Mark Grayson brought him to Earth. Initially hesitant, Mark and Debbie eventually embraced Oliver as family. On Earth, Oliver trained as a superhero and adopted the mantle of Kid Omni-Man, later evolving into a capable solo hero. Despite his exceptional intellect, his moral understanding initially lagged, leading to reckless decisions and tension with his family. After a major incident, Oliver went with Alan to a planet Taliskrea, where he met his wife, Haluma, an alien with a lobster-like appearance. After a 5-year time skip, Haluma and Oliver have twin children. The children are not named in the series, but they appear in the story during significant events. Terra Grayson. Terra Grayson, a human Viltrumite hybrid, inherited her father Mark's extraordinary Viltrumite powers. Born to Mark Grayson and Samantha Eve Wilkins, Terra did not gain her mother's transmutation abilities but became a formidable individual in her own right. Terra's birth was dramatic, occurring after Eve underwent emergency surgery following severe injuries. Mark was overwhelmed with emotion upon seeing his daughter for the first time, though the couple anticipated the challenges Terra would face due to her lineage. Her early life was filled with tender familial moments and the struggles of balancing heroism and parenting, including humorous and awkward instances like Eve breastfeeding Terra at dinner and adjusting to life aboard spaceships. As she grew older, Terra developed exceptional combat skills and a compassionate heart, often assisting her father with humanitarian efforts across the galaxy. She distanced herself from Earth, disliking its outdated technology and struggling with her half-brother's presence. Despite occasional estrangement from her parents due to intergalactic conflicts, Terra eventually joined a humanitarian program under a pseudonym and donned her own version of the Invincible costume. Terra's life spanned centuries, marked by friendships, love, and reconciliation. She dedicated herself to resolving conflicts across the universe, leaving behind a legacy of compassion and strength while enjoying peaceful moments with her family. Markus Sebastian Grayson, also known as Marcus Murphy, is the son of Mark Grayson and Anissa, a Viltrumite. Marcus's conception occurred under traumatic circumstances, as Anissa forced herself on Mark, a decision she later regretted. She went on to marry a human man and initially hid Marcus's existence from Mark. Markus met his biological father when he was only a few years old and learned of his Viltrumite heritage. As a Viltrumite human hybrid, he inherited Viltrumite superhuman abilities. Despite the difficult circumstances of his birth and his complex feelings toward his father, Markus grew to understand his origins and reconcile with Mark. He also has a complicated relationship with his half-sister Terra, born from the loving relationship between Mark and his wife Eve.